Hi, this is part two of the Bible history video. Um, Hopefully, I can wrap everything up in this segment. What I was getting into was you got to understand history to understand the Bible. You have to understand true history to understand the Bible. The Bible's a history book. Everything is documented in there from the beginning of time. You can reconcile what's in the Bible with history and archaeology and things of that nature. You Anything that you see in history that doesn't necessarily tie into what's in the Bible, then you got to question the history because there has been some falsification of history. There has been some information that has been held back from history, kind of some twisting of the truths, things of that nature, political reasons, whatever it may be. So the real truth is out there. This is the information age. If you got a computer, you can get to the real truth. Now, again, when you read something, you got to filter it through the Bible to see if it makes sense and it lines up with what's in the Bible, because what's in the Bible has been proven time and time again to be accurate. Um, so what you gotta have a good understanding of is the lineages and the lines of people through the Bible, and you can trace who different groups are through the lineages in the Bible, because initially a nationality was tied to a person's bloodline through their father's line. A nationality wasn't tied to a landmass. Today for the last probably 200 or so years, we've been tying nationality to a landmass. So that's not the way, per the Bible, that you're supposed to do it. That's why all those lineages are in the Bible down through the fathers, because it's a bloodline through your father's house. So, and I'm just trying to give some guidance to help people with their research. So you had Nimrod building the Tower of Babel, and I guess there's a lot of different people claiming different areas that took place. Um, but I'm not here to debate that. But um, it would have been somewhere in the Kingdom of Cush, and if you look at the Kingdom of Cush was on both sides of the Red Sea. So it went over into the area that's on the eastern side of the Red Sea, as well as the area on the right side of the Red Sea. You'll see it drawn out differently on different maps, but if you do the research, it was on basically on both sides. So that is where basically everybody came together as one, built the tower, and then Yahweh, the Most High God, was not happy that they were doing this, so he separated their language, okay? And then everybody dispersed, okay? And so um, when they dispersed, they went, to different lands. And so then the Bible starts touching on, after that, kind of where the different people resided. So if you get down to, there's a lot of dispute over a lot of these dates, but what I think is the most accurate date is for Abraham to have been around somewhere in the 1900s BC, and the the children of Israel to be in Egypt from roughly the 1900 BC to the 1500s BC. If you read the Josephus, which was a first century historian, he documents that Abraham gave the people of Egypt, the Egyptians, a lot of their knowledge from a standpoint of science, mathematics, things of that nature. And if you look at the archaeology from the Egyptians at that time, the Egyptians were brown skinned, if not dark brown skinned people, and that's what's drawn on the walls there. That's what is in their statues, their artwork. So there's really no reason to dispute that. Now, if you look at history, later on, the Egyptians somewhat got overran by Alexander. The Greek, or really the Macedonian, because that's really the area that he came from, Macedon. And then there was a different nationality of pharaohs there that weren't the same as the pharaohs before. And then you've had some other conquering that's happened in that land, where the Arabs kind of came into the land, and they kind of still for the most part reside there today. I think that would happen, and I forget the dates on that. I want to say it's the 6th, 7th century that they kind of overthrew Egypt. But basically the original Egyptians are down further south. A lot of people say they're the Sudanese, and that might be the case. I haven't really researched that, but the Sudanese are the people who are just south of there, so that makes sense. Their south is pretty much the only direction they could have gone after getting run out of that land. I guess because there are other people to the west. So because of politics, a lot of people don't confirm a lot of the stuff related to the children of Israel being in Egypt. But there's a good video on YouTube. It's related to the Hyksos, which is spelled Hyksos. And it shows a virus, which would have been the land of Goshen, that they settled in. And there's walls there with drawings of the Hebrews, or the children of Israel, and they are multicolored, brown skin, from a dark brown to a light brown skin people. So, that's one name you can research them on. Now the Hyksos are documented to have been in Egypt, and they are the only documented mass exodus of 1 million or so people out of Egypt. And so from that standpoint, there's indication that this is the Exodus that the Bible talks about. Now you have some historians disputing that fact. Some say, some agree with that, some disagree with that. But the bottom line is no historian is able to tell you where these people went after they left Egypt. Kind of like they just disappeared into thin air. I'm talking about the Hyksos. Now the Israelites, the Bible tells you where they went. Now, the reason I think that 1500 BC And I think to be accurate, I think about 1550 BC is the date of the Exodus, is because that's the date documented for the Hyksos to have left. And also, there's some kind of, if you read, there's some, I think it's called Warrior Kings. No, Warrior Kings are Warrior Kings of Egypt or something like that. Video. It's done by, I think, the History Channel, and it touches on that period of time, what was going on. And there's kind of, if you look through it, there's kind of some strange things with some of the pharaohs that transpired. The story of this Hyksos exodus and the dealings with the Hyksos, it doesn't seem like it's above board to happen exactly as said. And also, when you get into that later period, there's a pharaoh that documents, and this documentation is on the walls there in Egypt. He documents seeing Israel in the wilderness. So it would have been the wilderness times, and he was passing through. I can't remember, going somewhere. I don't remember the details. So that kind of confirms, well, if the Pharaoh right after this period documents seeing them, then obviously they're already in the wilderness. And if you listen at the conventional theory that they came out of Egypt in the 1200 BC, they would have still been in Egypt. So how does this Pharaoh see them in the wilderness 300 years earlier? So okay, so I'm gonna have to make a third video. So please tune in to part 3.